Hi y'all, I have a new little project to share with everybody this afternoon. I ordered recently when my Creative Time had their sale. I was able to order a few of their snow angels and some of the fairies, which I just absolutely love. And when I saw her fairies that my Creative Time had designed, what I liked about them is I thought, okay, I could use them in the spring and summer, but I could also make Christmas fairies or little Christmas elves with them. And so that was really what I had in mind when I ordered. And she is so cute, y'all, and your imagination can just run wild with her because she's so small. You can mix in so many different things with her. So this is what I made. Let me show y'all. And I did put her on a wooden tag because I wanted her to double as a more sustainable Christmas ornament than just a paper tag this time. So she is glued to a wooden tag, and I will show you the kind of wooden tags that I used. But this is the fairy, and she's holding her little envelope that says fairy mail. And there's her little envelope that has Believe in Magic with a little fairy letter and a little postage stamp that says Magical Wishes with Fairy Kisses. Y'all, she's so cute. Look how fun she is. Okay, so let's talk about the pieces that I used. It was the Fairy Stamps and Die set MCT 428 from My Creative Time, and I believe this one is Fairy Set 1. So with Fairy Set 1, you get this die, which makes this little angel or this little fairy, and you also get these stamps that have a ton of just cute little fairy sayings in them. And I used the one that says Magical Wishes with Fairy Kisses. I used the Believe in Magic on the envelope, and then this teeny tiny one that says Fairy Mail. I'm just absolutely in love with that. I just think it's so sweet. So those are the 3 stamps that I used that came with it. And y'all, I did not use anything from this. I want to make another tag using this one, but I wanted to show y'all this is Fairy Set 2, and this is Fairy Set 3 from My Creative Time. So she did a cute little series. So those are the items from My Creative Time. I then used, it's called a baby envelope die set, and it's from Fun Stamper's Journey. It's D1-0410. And that's what I used to make the envelope with. Right, and then I showed y'all this in my video a couple of weeks ago. I found this at Joann's I don't know, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And it was a stamp and die set, something called Sketchbook by Bea Valint. And in this, it came with the little postage stamp die. So I used this out of that to make the little fairy postage stamp. So that was that. And then I used 2 dies, let's see y'all, from this set, which is the Spellbinders SS431, which is the Picot Petite circles. And I used, let's see, I used the smallest inner circle and then the next one up. And if y'all watched my angel video the other day, this is also the set I used to make the little shabby chic angels. So you can find lots of uses with sets like this that have such detailed little scallops. So this is a good style die set to get. So those are the main pieces. And let's talk about the details, y'all, because I think that's what's fun. All right, I'm going to slide this over. I'm going to leave her kind of right there. I'm going to slide these over just a little. So I mentioned that I used a wooden tag. I get these at Hobby Lobby, but I know Michael's has them also. I actually saw them in there for Christmas. They have natural wood ones, and then they have these kind of white shabby chic ones. I think you can get a set of 30 for maybe about $7 or $8. And I think they're really fun to kind of have a more sustainable tag, and it doubles as a Christmas ornament. So y'all know I love creating on these. So this was my base for this project, was one of these. And so on these, one side is wood grain and one side is smooth. So I always glue to the smooth side. So you'll see on the back of the finished ornament tag, it's the wood grain. Okay, so I'm going to show y'all that. So the first thing I did was I cut the tassel off so I could trace. And I just traced the ornament onto a piece of cardstock. In this case, I used the red and green kind of candy cane striped, and cut that out, glued that on. Then on the Spellbinders, the little circle dies, I cut out one of the little circles, and then an inner circle out of some paper that said Merry Christmas. And y'all, this one has a flaw in it because I got it too close to the edge, but I wanted to show y'all. And then for the postage stamp die, I cut out some green pattern paper with one. And then because I wanted it to have more of a yellow tone, so there would be a contrast between the inner and outer frame, I ran the postage stamp die through on some creamy cardstock and just cut the scallops away so I could glue that on the inside. And this is just where I was playing with some different designs. Show y'all. So it was just a piece of creamy cardstock cut away and glued in for the stamp. And the Magical Wishes with Fairy Kisses is from the My Creative Time set. Now, I did use this old tiny little stamp of, I'm not sure if they're supposed to be fairy or elf booties, but I think they work for both. I've used them for both ways. It's an old Personal Stamp Exchange PSX stamp. It's B3645. And y'all can see it's just so cute. And I could not get the little bow to fit as I stamped, so I just masked the bow off for the final one and just stamped the shoes without the bow of the stamp, so I'd have more room for the words. So that is that stamp. And y'all, I've had this, oh my gosh, I can't even tell. Look at the old original price tag on this, $1.29. So it's part of my old wood stamp collection, and I love old PSX stamps. So if you're ever looking for some vintage wood, I think some of their old designs are so fun. So I wanted to mention that. But if you don't have that, just use any little thing that you want to kind of mix in. But I just thought the fairy shoes were too perfect for this. So that gets you to that stage. Now for the envelope, I just ran the envelope die through on brown cardstock, and then some of the red and white polka dot, and just cut out the red and white polka dot and slid it in to make it look like I had a little faux envelope liner. So that's all that was. And if you don't have an envelope die, y'all can, just fashion your own, because that's not a hard design to cut out. So I wanted to mention that. Let's see, y'all. For her letter, if y'all have ever seen these paper packs in Hobby Lobby, I think this particular design set comes in 2 different sizes. It has this cardstock pattern in here. Let's see, y'all. Let me find it. That's this. And it's just old vintage letters or postcards. And so that's what I used. And I just cut that out from one of these pages and slid it in at an angle to give me her letter. So I did that. So now let's talk about the actual fairy. Let's see. Y'all know I just sit and cut like a ton of pieces every time. So that's what I did with her. I just cut a bunch of different wings and dresses and all that. And if you will go to the My Creative Time website, oh, I have fuzz. She has a sweet little video on there that shows you how to layer her. But the only little thing that I would say that was the great tip that she had in her video is if you want your fairy to hold something, just don't glue the very tips of her hands down so you can slide something under it, which is what I did. And the only other change I made to her from this set is if you make her with the die as she comes with boots, like kind of like knee-length boots. And I wanted her to have more like teeny tiny elf shoes. So I cut the boots normal and then just trimmed them down to just be little slippers. So I did do that also on this set. And she comes with the wing die. And so for that, I cut 2 pairs of wings because I wanted her to be a little more sparkly and glittery. So I cut 2 pairs of wings out and glued on the back. And I used, this is my new favorite glitter paper, y'all. It's Park Lane from Joann's, and I used the gold. But this is so smooth, and it doesn't have any glitter that rubs off, and it's so easy to cut with and work with. So I'm really in love with this glitter paper. So I wanted to show y'all that. And then I also used the little star gem that came from Joann's also from Park Lane. And I used that like the little envelope seal for the envelope. For the teeny tiny little pom-poms for the elf shoes or the fairy shoes, I used just a regular red pom-pom, but I didn't have any that tiny. So I've shown in other videos that what I'll do is I just take scissors and I cut it in half and then just kind of reball it up and glue it. So that was actually one small pom-pom cut in half and glued down to make the little poms for the fairy shoes. So that's that. I tied a little bit of ribbon at the bottom and added a bell and then just some red little stick-on gemstones. And then I did want to show y'all this green velvet ribbon, y'all. I found this on a Michael's walkthrough recently, and it was not Christmas ribbon, it's fall ribbon. But it is just some really soft green velvet. So I wanted to mention that if you're looking for some pretty deep greens for Christmas, they have it in their fall section at Michael's. So I wanted to mention that. And let's see what else, y'all. Okay, I did want to mention for the inks, because a lot of times I don't use a bunch of different color inks. But for this, I did want to share with y'all for clear stamps when I go to ink them. I very much love the VersaFine ink colors. I just find it does the details so well. So I use the VersaFine Shady Lane green for the elf boots, the little fairy boots, which is that. Which it's not a grass green, but it's such a good little green for Christmas, if you can see. So I use that. And then I use the Tulip Red for the Magical Wishes with Fairy Kisses, because it kind of gives it that old Christmas red look to me without being so harsh. So I use that. I used the black, the Nocturne, for the Fairy Mail envelope because I wanted it to be very detailed when I inked it. So I used that. I used the Distress Ink Vintage Photo for the Believe in Magic because I just wanted it to look more loved and used. So I used that. And then I used the Distressed Ink Tea Dye just to kind of age around the whole little ornament tag to make it look more vintage and just kind of that loved, well-loved, used look. So let's see if what else, y'all? I have. Okay, and I wanted to show y'all a couple of the markers and just little accessories that I used to finish this. I used some of the gold stickles to go on the postage stamp to add just like little dots so it would have a little more shimmer. So I used that. And then I did use this to just age it. This is what I used with the tea dye, just to age the envelope and around the tag. I used one of those. I used a Copic marker for her hair color. And I also used one for her face because I just cut her out. I cut her hair and her face and her legs and her hands just out of white cardstock and then just colored her. For her cheeks, I used a Tombow watercolor marker and a little paintbrush and gave her her little pink cheeks. And then the white Jelly Roll pen for her eyes. And then to do her eyelashes, I used one of these little fine tip Stabilo pens. And then I used this, which is like a yellowy brown color, to highlight some of the lines in her hair to kind of give her a little more dimension. So I wanted to show that. And then y'all, I just glued a little jingle bell to the ribbon. So she'll actually jingle if you shake her. So this was the new My Creative Time Fairy that I have just been anxious to use her for Christmas creations, and I can't wait to use the next two to make a few more little Christmas fairy series with. So I wanted to show that, and I am so looking forward to the new My Creative Time release that's supposed to come out. I can't wait. And I want to, the other one that I would really love to get and create with is the Mrs. Santa, the gingerbread Santa, or the Mrs. Santa, and either make the gingerbread a Mrs. Santa or just the Mrs. Santa Claus, because I just think her little designs are so sweet. But if you haven't checked out the My Creative Time site, go look. She just has such sweet, whimsical Christmas sets. So y'all have a good afternoon, and I will see y'all again on Saturday.